my training and my games are in the evening, so I only eat fruit before that. Like I
Mm.
don't eat any cooked stuff before my training or my games, and I feel amazing.
Nicht wirklich gefährliche Situation. Lebenslauf heraufbeschwören, das verteidigen die Regensburger gut und jetzt auch kommen sie auch an die Scheibe. Sofort wieder nach vorne rein. Die Scheibe, das ist.
Like the muscle soreness is not there after like the day after training and all that stuff, and
Mm.
my joints, like I feel flexible and stuff. Like yeah, the recovery is just next level.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of IBD Heal, a podcast brought to you by High Carb Health. I'm your host, Shakul, and today we have a very special guest, Andrew Schembri. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Shakul.
So
Pleasure.
Andrew's been on the show before because he's one of our clients who's healed from ulcerative colitis, and he did that 4 years ago. And I wanted to bring him on for a few reasons. Number one, I wanted to share with all of you that not only do you heal, but you can stay healthy after you heal too. And secondly, he's got an amazing journey. Andrew is a professional ice hockey player in
Yeah.
Germany. And I've got the soccer World Cup in my head,
Hey,
you know.
I wish soccer. They make a lot more money, So
I've got the soccer
no.
World Cup in my head, and I'm like, oh no. But yeah, no, Andrew's playing professional ice hockey in Germany, doing amazing. And we're going to talk about his year last year, coming into his 40s now, and he's getting better and faster and better as he gets older. So it's a real pleasure to have you on, man, and welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And yeah, I like yeah, so like we started 2018 the healing journey, and yeah, that was a difficult process in the beginning to change my lifestyle, and but I ended up healing, and yeah, I mean, but like it wasn't it hasn't been always like easy, so there's been situations where I've relapsed, and but I didn't panic. I knew the situation. I knew what to do. I knew because from what we worked on and stuff, I knew exactly how I needed to heal, what I ate. Um, and like from Dr. Klein's book that I read, he said, like it takes about 7, 8 years for the gut to really heal. I've had this disease for since 2004, so it was a long time. I'm sure my gut is still healing. Um, but and he says, you have to be careful of what you eat still, even if you're eating the healthy things. Um, I mean, I would do things where I got into a flare, back into a flare or a healing process, where I would be eating, like, I would get I would get carried away with things. Like I would eat probably too much gluten. Like I would eat bread, but I would do that constantly, and I would just eat a little bit of oily, fatty foods that I wouldn't supposed to eat. And then eventually, I would have these reflares, and yeah, each I say about three or four I had in this whole time that since I started with you guys, but I was able to heal them myself. I didn't panic. I knew exactly what to do, what to eat to go back on it, to ease my symptoms. But they lasted probably about 3 or 4 months, but then afterwards it was clear sailing. Um, but yeah, it's been quite the journey. I noticed over the time though my stomach's getting stronger, like it's able to put up with certain things, and it gets stronger after every healing crisis that I have.
Mm.
But I'm smooth sailing. It's not like I'm having all the time. I'm good. There's no medication, never since we started, uh, and yeah, like this newfound way that I'm eating here, and it's helped my sports career, my ice hockey career. I feel like I'm getting stronger and better and faster as I get older. It's kind of weird. I think that was like Benjamin Button style. We have the same effect, but yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so
it's
that's what you just mentioned was one of the reasons I wanted to we talked about that earlier, like um you know you know what you did that caused some symptoms to come back, but then you also knew what you had to do to correct that and heal it,
yeah,
and so one of the things we like to teach our clients is that no one's going to be perfect, no one's going to be 100% all the time, and we're all human and we make mistakes, and as long as we can understand why that happened, okay, it doesn't come out of nowhere, right? So
yeah,
we have to do something to trigger that. And so that's I want to make that really clear. Like, even though he's had a few little recurrences, he understood why
yeah,
that happened, and then he was able to recover. And at that time, playing very high level, professional sport all the while, which is, we talked about that towards the end of the program in 2018. How do you optimize your nutrition to keep your athletic performance in really good shape as well? So, um, like, okay, so we talked about, some of the bad stuff that's happened. Like, talk about
yeah.
all, like the majority of the time for the last four
Yeah, I
years,
mean,
man.
to be honest, like it's not negative whatsoever. Like I look at it as a positive. It's been all
Yeah.
positive, and like I'm eating, like, okay, so my training, my games are in the evening, so I only eat fruit before that. Like I
Mm.
don't eat any cooked stuff before my training or my games, and I feel amazing. Like my go-tos are smoothies. Like I have one in the morning, and I have one like pre-game or pre-training kind of thing. And smoothie will contain like bananas with dates and frozen with frozen fruits as well, and that's what I eat before. And you just feel, there's no bloating, there's nothing. There's like, you just feel light and you feel explosive, and like you're ready to perform. Like it's and like even afterwards, yeah, after my training, then I'll feel like I need something cooked, so I'll eat like a cooked meal, and and that will satisfy me. There's some days where I go on all fruit. That's just to clean the system out a little, to put it back in check.
Mm.
But overall, like even
And that's
after
amazing for
training,
recovery as well. If you go all fruit for a
oh,
day, that's just amazing for recovery for performance levels as well.
and that's a big thing, because I noticed that the next day, when I used to, before I started eating this way, I would be tired. Like I would sleep the next day. I wouldn't want to do anything. I'd be tired, just be a big grumpy guy, like. But now, but the next day after, I'm like full energy. Like it's like
Mm,
ready to go back at it again. So yeah, I mean, and I feel now that the longer I've done it, that my systems adapt to it, and is used to it, and it's just getting stronger and stronger, and I feel better and better as I get older.
mm,
It's wild. Like I don't know, like I still have the drive. It's still, like mentally, is the mind is still there, because I'm healthy, I'm happy, and I still want to go. I still want to battle. I still want to play, and yeah, it's just yeah, it's been all positive. It's been great.
yeah, just talk about what it's like, because once you heal, like, even if you have a couple of setbacks, you have a lot of freedom back in your life, right? Like, so just talk about what
Yeah,
things were
it's
like. Just talk about what things were like when you had the disease and you were on your, biologics and immunosuppressive medications, and kind of like trying to get through your career that way. and then what it's been like
Cool.
since. Like
Yeah.
just kind of do a comparison for the audience there.
Yeah, well, like before, I was on the meds. I was infected with the colitis, or ulcerative colitis, and yeah, like my mental state was down. Like it would affect other people, it would affect my family, like my wife, like she like I couldn't go. Wouldn't want to go out. Like I'd have anxiety. I'd even had anxiety. I now that I think back about it, I think it's from the medication, believe it or not, and just because the gut's infected, right? The gut's
Blamed. Yeah.
inflamed and all that stuff, and yeah, I would have anxiety. I wouldn't want to go out in public. Like it was weird. And now I'm just a totally different guy. Like now I'm happy. I want to do stuff. I I even have like a side hustle. I learned to I learned to cut hair, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so like I cut like a lot of guys on my team's hair. I'm like the team barber, and like I do other people. But like this way, like I'm happy, and there's no medication. I like I want to do other things, like you know what I mean, and it's giving me a better, clear mental state, and like I see things differently, and the energy's there to do different things, and yeah, like I'm not looking for a toilet every second, you know. Like I'm not going to a place knowing where the toilet is or anything like that. The only thing is that when I have to go to the toilet is to go to do number one, because I drink so many smoothies that you gotta go. No, but yeah, yeah. So yeah,
No,
it,
and
it 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 was pretty tough before, though, before that stuff. But
yeah, and in terms of your performance, you're telling me that, and we've talked about this a few times after you healed as well, that your performance level is actually better now than when you were younger, right?
yeah,
And that
yeah,
that blows a lot of people's mind. I mean, how do people react when they find out that you're, still ripping it up at 40?
Hey, yeah, like people back home, they're like, "Wow, keep it going." I think they're living it through me. I talked to a lot of guys that I used to play with. A lot of them
Yeah, yeah.
stopped. They just gotta stop because, yeah,
Body can't keep up, yeah.
but they're happy that they're like, "Wow." It's like guys that I played with in the past are like, "Oh, wow, you're still playing." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I'm getting old, man. You hear the chirps from all the guys that you're getting old, and they tell you got to stop, but you're like, nope." But yeah, I feel yeah, I feel like better than I did when I was sick. Like it's just a no-brainer, right? Like the muscle soreness is not there after, like the day after training and all that stuff. And
Hmm.
my joints, I feel flexible and stuff. Yeah, the recovery is just next level. But it's hard because you got to be careful. People don't want to hear it. So a lot of people don't want to hear that, and
Hmm.
some people do, and some people don't. And
Yeah.
in the beginning of this process, I tried to tell everyone, like, oh yeah, but you can see, people get annoyed, and then you find the right people, you connect with the right people, and you try to help them out, and
Hmm.
yeah, make it
Absolutely. I
good.
remember I remember like at the end when we were just finishing our program and you started training like really intensely again after everything had gotten better, and you just were telling me, Sugar, it doesn't hurt after training. I don't feel any pain anymore. And you were like,
Yeah.
you couldn't believe it. It was just unreal.
Well, what I noticed right away was that, like, I used to have, like, when I used to train, I used to eat like meat and all that stuff. Like I would have that
Mm.
easing and that burning when I would train, when I would run,
Mm.
and all that stuff, and all this stuff in your nose and your throat. But and as soon as well, not as soon, but over time, as soon as you change the diet, that all that stuff
Yeah.
goes away, and that's
Yeah.
like a huge factor because you want to have good cardio and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm like a new man now. Feels
So
great.
so I want to share with everyone because you had an incredible year last year in the league where your team ended up winning the league.
Yeah.
You managed to get the most valuable player for the playoffs. So talk about, how that felt, and how you would compare that to other seasons. Yeah, how did it feel like? How was the playing
Yeah.
and everything like that?
Well, once you got your once you got the way you eat and stuff like that figured out, and you're feeling good, and you're not worried about I didn't have to worry about bloating, or like going into a game feeling bloated, or like sick, or having a flare in that situation. So I could focus just on hockey, and of course, I had amazing teammates and stuff that helped me along the way. Great team, and but like I said, my mind was good. My stomach was feeling good, and I could just focus on my actual skill and sport, and that was hockey. And yeah, I was able to give my 100% there instead of 50% here on of the performance, and worrying about the other half, and worrying about going to the bathroom and stuff. But yeah, definitely. I give credit to, even to me playing now, like I give credit to, if I didn't change the way I ate, I would probably be, yeah, not playing, I would say. That's honest opinion from me. Yeah.
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 And the other thing I want to talk to you about is how does the change in lifestyle and diet affect your performance levels? Like, because obviously as a professional, you probably get monitored and you're getting a few different things checked. How has that, been for you in terms of cardio, in terms of strength, all of these things, going to the gym, all that
I
kind of
mean,
stuff?
the strength is still there. We do testing, before the season, bunch of tests, and my levels, like my strength, but the tests that we do of like training and stuff, and running and stuff, but is I don't want to say the exact numbers, but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
okay, yeah, not
they're they're
not
they're,
gonna
they're
give that
really
up.
high, and they're really high, and they're high, and they're like high in the team, and yeah, like the performance is still there, like and as an athlete, you don't want your performance to decline. And once people outside start seeing that, then they're like, oh, okay, this guy's getting old, let's not we don't need him anymore. But that's the opposite of what's going on now, and it's helped my performance, it's helped my testing before seasons, it's helping everything, it's helping my recovery, um just my relationship with people, like I'm just in a better mood, like. And that was huge. That's also one of the big things. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned before that you only eat fruit until your game, right? So you're eating
Yeah.
fruit most days, you're probably eating fruit until dinner, or sometimes fruit the whole day. And playing such there's a cardio and strength-based game. People will say, but Andrew, there's no way you're getting enough protein or what are those things? Like how you found that? Because in terms of what we've learned and been taught, like the fruit is exceptional for performance,
Yeah.
but I'm sure you've even had people come and talk to you and your team, or other health professionals and
Yeah.
stuff, saying you're not getting enough of this, so you're not getting enough of that. How do you cope with that?
No, no, yeah, that's a funny thing, because hockey's not a little man sport, really. Like there's lots of big strong players in that league, right? And I'm actually like small. Like I'm I don't know, what do you guys do centimeters? I'm 163 centimeters tall, or
You can do inches as
five
well.
foot 5 foot 4.
Five
I'm
foot
5 foot
four
4, and there's guys that are 6 feet. Like
or
uh
bigger.
yeah, or bigger, and
Yeah.
also yeah, big guys, and yeah, I mean, but my power is there. Like it's evident. Like there's guys that be, oh, that's too much. You're eating too much sugar. I'm like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? I don't even get into arguments with them, because I just
Yeah.
laugh, because I like, and not too many people say much too, because the performance is there. So
Yeah.
proof's in the pudding. Like I don't need to explain too much. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's
I mean, it happens all the time, like there's people coming and talking to talking on our channel, and people watching
yeah,
here
yeah,
must be thinking, how do they get that performance eating fruit? And obviously Shamiz and I, we're not at a professional level, but we can do you know, quite a lot of
yeah,
athletics things. Um, but especially for someone in pro sports to be on this diet, um, I understand that it's going to be give you heaps of
yeah,
performance gains, right? And that's why, obviously I recommended that to you, and it's proof with how you're
yeah.
doing. But just in society, it's not normally seen that way, is it?
Yeah, no, no, not at all. Like, but there's teammates that also they listen and they lean towards maybe eating more fruit. Like some guys I play with, they drink more smoothies now and stuff like that. And but yeah, like it's completely. I will not eat. I'll eat only fruit before performances, so it's I feel the best. And yeah, I know.
Make fruit a meal, everyone. And you can see, like, you don't have to, it's not just for people who want to heal. It's actually, for people who want to maximize their athletic performance as well. It's the same diet that helped Andrew heal is the diet that's actually helping him continue to play at a very high level
Yeah.
in a professional league and actually be the best player in that league in the playoffs, and win the championship and things like that. So,
I mean, it's a rigorous sport too, like you're getting body checked
mhm.
and cross checked and you're using your legs like the skate and your groins and it's just like a wear and tear sport on your body. But like
Yeah.
but this almost like reverses like feel great. Like yeah. I would recommend it. There's other guys that has gone contacted me and I've recommended this way, and some guys have gone this route, and some guys figure out their own way when it's yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's you had a very specific reason for making that change, and you know,
yeah,
unless you've really dived into it and experienced the difference it gives you, you don't actually understand how big a deal it is, right? So, for
exactly.
someone else who's actually been performing at a very high level anyway, they could get another jump in performance, but they may
Yeah,
not feel the need to do it.
I know it because I've done both ways, right? Like I know
Yeah.
that the different feels and if you want to prolong your career and feel good and feel strong, and then yeah, this is the way, in my opinion. So
Yeah. I want to just touch on a couple of things you talked about earlier in the meeting, like in terms of having symptoms and things like that. Like I know your initial detox when we first worked together and you came off your immunosuppressants, that was pretty like full on,
yeah,
right? That was quite severe and Andrew talked about it in our previous chat. When you made some little errors and ate foods that you probably shouldn't have been eating too much of, and did those things, a bit of oily stuff, and maybe eating
yeah.
junk food and stuff like that, was it as severe, or were you able to manage like cope?
Um, I would say maybe one was like pretty intense. But then again, I'm still performing. Like I still have to play hockey and
Mm,
uh, but like I remember from when we worked together. Like you don't panic. Like like don't be afraid of it. Like you know, like it's part of the healing process. And
yeah.
yeah, like I ate things that I wasn't supposed to. I got comfortable and I'm like, oh, let's see how far I can push it. Let's see how
Mm.
far I can maybe eat bread. Like, like I don't know. I just for some reason I wanted to do that. And then it reached a limit. And then my bot maybe with a little stress added in there, I saw blood in my stool and then yeah, they would last 4 months and but yeah, I didn't panic. I knew exactly what to eat from what we worked on, and yeah, and it healed like every time. And let's say it were to happen again, like I wouldn't even panic. But it's very seldom that it happened. But
Yeah. And just trying to get people to understand why we don't want to panic about symptoms, right? Like what do the symptoms mean? Like, what does it mean when the body's creating some symptoms?
Yeah, it's just like cleaning itself out. Like it's getting rid of all the stuff you that wasn't supposed to be in your body. It's cleaning out, like let's say you ate like too much oil or like yeah, junk food, and it's in your tissues, it's in your body, it's in your stomach, and yeah, you gotta clean it out, but it takes time. It takes doesn't happen overnight. Just stick with the process and stick to what makes like this the comfort food, like the bananas, the calm, the pumpkins, the potatoes, the like, no
Hmm.
spices, stuff like that. And over time it takes, you'll see it in your stool, right? You see, sometimes you see a little pus come out. uh and but I'd say in my last healing crisis that I had, that it wasn't as bad, but it lasted probably 3 to 4 months.
Just
And
like minimal symptoms for a little
yeah,
while.
minimal symptoms. Like there was just one time that it was a little bit more than I liked, but again, I didn't panic. I'm like, I've been through this before.
Hmm.
Let's get through this. So yeah, life's not perfect, and you learn from your experiences. So, and now I know that not to eat certain things, like, don't get carried away, or else, it
Yeah.
could happen. Like
Yeah, you
I
can have it
like it.
once in a while, but what you do 95% of the time is what really.
Yeah, I got carried away with it, and yeah, I mean, and also, since I've had colitis for so long, like 2004 to then I started trying to heal in
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah,
So it
14
takes
years.
time for your gut to heal, right? And like I
Yeah.
said, over time, it feels like my stomach's getting stronger, and can tolerate lots of things there. So
Hmm. Let's talk about what a food day in the life of a professional athlete looks like, following the high carb health way of doing things. Um,
simple.
Simple. Yeah,
It's really
keep
it's
it
really
simple,
simple.
sunshine. Yeah,
Easy,
yeah,
simple
but
stuff.
people want to know, right? Like it's
Okay, well, I'll tell you. Like, I had a game yesterday or a couple days ago. Well, I do it every time. Like, it's good to have a routine, right?
yeah, for
Like
sure.
I eat similar to I eat the same stuff pretty much, like often, like every day almost, and sometimes I'll throw in a different meal or a different thing. But I'll wake up in the morning. I'll actually drink some water. And then yeah, I'll prepare my smoothie, which is, probably like seven, yeah, 7, 8 bananas with frozen, as well, frozen berries or frozen mangoes. And then I'll mix it with some water, and then I will blend it, put a couple I'll put like a handful of dates in there, make them little, like crunched up, so I have a little texture in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it's a pretty big, it's like a 2 liter smoothie.
yeah.
Have that in the
That's
morning.
7 bananas. That's about 700 calories, and maybe another
Yeah,
100 calories for the other fruit, and then the dates maybe another 200. So that thousand, somewhere between
about
900
1,000.
and 1,100 calories, and
Yep.
that's yeah.
And then so I'll have that in the morning around like 9. My game's like at 8 at nighttime, and then I'll eat. I've found, like, before I have to play, that I will have my last smoothie. Same thing that I did in the morning. I have another one, maybe a different frozen fruit, but uh I'll have that probably like, I would say 4.5, 5 hours before I perform. So I'll have a big one like that before. And
And
then,
why do you do that? What's the benefit? I mean, I don't want to tell everyone. You can tell everyone.
well,
What's the benefit of
yeah,
waiting a bit of
well,
time for that food to?
the benefit, well, for one thing, all those bananas, you stay full, like you stay full, but you don't feel full. It's
Yeah,
like, you don't,
yeah.
there's no bloating, there's no nothing. You don't feel hungry. So, and you still have that energy, right?
Mm.
And so before the game, when I go to the game, I actually bring more bananas, just single ones. So I'll
Yeah.
bring a stack of bananas with me, and actually our team has a bunch of fruit there anyways. So they cut up fruit for us. They cut up like pineapple, oranges, and stuff, and apples, and so between periods, it's like I've ate so much fruit at that point. Like, but
Yeah.
I love it. Like I do it. I do it every day. I even do it if I don't have a game. So I'll do that, and I'll just go how my body feels like during the game. Like if I feel a little bit hungry between the periods, I'll eat a banana or and also during the day, I'm also drinking lots of water as well. Going to the toilet a lot, going to pee a lot. Uh, but and then by that time after the game, it's late, well, a little I actually do I eat a late meal. But it doesn't matter. Like my body's hungry, my body's telling me it's hungry. And at
Yeah.
that point, I said enough for the fruit and I want to cook meals. So my go-to is like I eat a lot of potatoes like with the air fryer, the I do a lot of yeah, pommes. I do a lot of fries and or baked potatoes and with vegetables. I'll have beans. I'll do like I'll do like since you guys started showing that new dressing on Instagram,
Mm.
that's been my go-to with a salad. I've been
Man, how
having
good
lots
is
of
it?
salads after. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, so you get your greens at the end of your day after your game. So
Yeah, I have like I have a big salad on the side too of all my other stuff like potatoes. I'll eat some rice. I'll eat stuff like that. So and then I feel good, and then in the morning I'm ready to go. And I
you're
also have
basically you're basically having around 2,200 calories before your game. And
yeah,
then maybe you have one or two bananas during your game, so it's another couple of hundred calories. And then so
yeah,
you're probably somewhere around 3,500 calories a day.
yeah, yeah.
Sound about right?
I would say around there. Yeah, I think that you need that in order to
You do need that. Yeah, you do
But
need
it's
that.
it's it's not hard because in the smoothie you can get it right down. Like it's easy.
Mm, mm.
So yeah, that's the
Yeah,
trick to it. That's the trick to
that's
it.
about what I would say that a pro needs to kind of with the amount of training that you do, the games that you play, you'll need to
Yeah.
get at least 3.5, sometimes 4,000, depending on how much
Yep.
workload you've got every day to
My
replace.
dinner is pretty large, so
You're pretty big.
that will add some calories because I'm pretty hungry after too. So yeah, I would say just around there. Like you're correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
awesome. And yeah, so you're eating a lot, and again, like I guess, and if you're living in a perfect world, the ideal time to eat your dinner would be like 6 p.m. and you let that digest overnight and things like that. But you're not living in an ideal world, and you're
Yeah,
playing a game, and you don't want a full stomach before you play. So um, yeah, so you have to eat later at night, and you
but
manage,
I
you get
yeah,
things
but
done.
I like I'll be done at like 10 sometimes 10 at night, 11 at night, and I'll be eating
Yeah,
at that time. But like I'll eat and then I'll feel full, but then it goes away fast. Like, like I don't
yeah.
feel I can go to bed like shortly after. It doesn't hurt me like and
No.
so
Well, your body
yeah.
needs that too, you just put in a lot of exertion and it needs to
Yeah.
replace the glycogen that you used up. So it's going to like absorb that really quickly and allow you
But
to rest. Yeah.
I wanted to say one thing that also was really important is sleep because whenever my body didn't feel right or almost sometimes when I have a relapse, it was when my body was overworked, like, and I didn't get
Yeah.
enough sleep. So, but as soon
100%.
as, yeah, the sleep is 100% important. And that's a big factor too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
if you
huge
haven't seen
factor.
that video that we've done that I did on YouTube, there's 5 major factors to keeping yourself in good health. The diet you ate, so Andrew's already told you like when he slipped from his diet,
Yep.
it wasn't great. Hydration, so obviously because of his
Water.
exercise, he plays enough, he drinks enough. Sleep is number 3. So again, if you're kind of like not paying
Yeah.
attention to how well you're sleeping,
Yeah.
you're gonna probably increase the toxic load in your body. Number 4 is exercise. You don't have any problem with that,
Yeah, that's
right?
it.
And number 5 is the mental health side of things. So you can kind of see how Andrew's explained, like even after he healed, when he wasn't paying attention to those 5 key lifestyle factors, his body
Yep.
reacted and told him, "Hey, Andrew, you're not doing what I want you to do." And it kind of reminded him, and he was like, "Okay, well, back to basics." And
Yep.
that's what you got to do. So
Yeah, it's actually quite simple if you think about it. Those are pretty easy things to control, I think. But it's easy, of course, in life to get distracted. But
yeah,
hey, you gotta.
And when
try to
you're feeling
remember.
really good, it's also easy to kind of relax a bit, you
Yeah,
know?
relax, get comfortable, eat things. Maybe you're not like, you get carried away a little. Oh, let's see, I can do this and do that. And yeah, exactly. But I haven't felt like this in a long time. So
Yeah, yeah. And you learn from
okay.
that. So each time that happens, you're like, okay, I won't do that again. And you just
Yeah,
get better and
100%.
better and better, So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
unlikely that you'll end up in that situation again. But you know,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I don't think so. Unless I,
oh, unless you,
don't use my head a little bit or get come. But even if I would, like, I could easily, get out of that because I know what to do. Like, yeah. But yeah,
exactly.
but thanks to you guys, like, you guys show me the way, and I'm actually able to help other people as well. So it's a big, is we're all connected in some type of way. So big
Yeah.
community. I found. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, you were talking, and one of the things you mentioned before is, you can get very excited when you find out about this information, you heal yourself, and you do something that's medically impossible, right? To kind of
Yeah.
say, shout it out from the rooftops. You're like, hey, pay attention here. And we felt like that too. Um, but at the end of the day, I think what you need to do is be a magnet, right? You be the shining example,
Be the
and
example,
then
and people
people
come.
people come to you. Hey,
Yeah, that's exactly it.
what exactly are you doing? Like, how did you do that? You know?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah, you're showing that age is not a factor. It's, age is not a factor. Society thinks age is a factor, but you can control a lot of things by how well you eat and look after your body,
yeah.
rest,
It's
and
hard though. You're in a society though where people like put a perception that okay, you're getting older, so you're not going to be able to perform. So
yeah,
what you have to do is prove them wrong and perform and show them.
absolutely, yeah.
It's a tough situation, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess you don't have as much leeway as one of the younger guys to not,
exactly.
if you don't perform for a few games, people will start talking. Oh yeah, maybe it's
Yeah,
because of the
yeah,
age.
it's good. Yeah, okay, yeah. Nah,
That probably
yeah.
motivates you too, doesn't it? Like how do you find that being an
Yeah.
older player in the league and like having to come up against guys who are probably half your age sometimes?
Yeah, like I could be some of their dads, like you're just so young, like but they keep me young, like they keep me fresh and if you want to be in a sport, you have to perform, so you have to be mentally fit and yeah, it's all about competition in this level, so yeah,
All right.
but
So here's what I want you to tell the audience, okay? So a couple of things. One about staying in good shape from bowel motions perspective and a UC perspective after you heal. Can you give everyone three main tips on, because you've obviously made some mistakes, and so you're
yeah.
talking from experience here. What are the three main tips that people can take away from this conversation about not having a setback after they heal? Or
Yeah,
keeping,
it's
let's change that. We'll change that from a negative to positive, right? What are the three main tips of staying in good health after you hit?
Yeah, I would say maybe number one would be maybe like having a routine. When you wake up, know that you can drink some water, have maybe a smoothie, but be comfortable with eating what you're used to eating, kind of thing. I mean, you can also always go and experiment with other things, but always have that home base where you can, what to eat, kind of thing. Have a routine, I would say. Um, Number two would be, yeah, like make sure you get enough sleep. I think sleep's actually a huge part. Like whenever I felt down or like, a little sick or not feeling a little bit under the weather, it would be because I didn't get enough sleep. So have enough sleep and yeah. I would say number three, what's number three? Maybe drink lots of water. I don't know, and have a good mindset. Like
Yeah.
have a positive mindset and treat everyone with respect and the energy comes back to you and it's just a big cycle. Like your life will be happy. Just you're doing the right thing, you're eating the right way. It's just a beautiful thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's three major things, right? And you basically touched on all three of them that I find that if people slip off on that, then they can kind of see things coming back. Number one, not managing your diet correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is I'll kind of explain to everybody why this can cause a setback or some kind of relapse or symptoms coming back. If we're not managing our diet properly and we're eating things, as Andrew mentioned, we started getting carried away and we're eating things that are more toxic to the body and not as healthy for us. This increases the toxic load. Okay. And if you've had a condition like colitis or Crohn's where your body decides every time it wants to remove toxins, it's going to do it through your bowel, right? So anytime you increase your toxic load over a certain level, it's going to say, well, I'm choosing the bowel. And you might see some symptoms. You might see some extra bowel motions. You might see a little bit of blood, some mucus, things like that coming back. So diet, if you eat diet that's more toxic to the body, well, the toxicity level increases.
Mm-hmm.
Then sleep. If we're not getting enough sleep, sleep is the main regeneration time of our body. That's when the most amount of energy is created. That's when we can basically remove the most amount of toxins that happens overnight, where our liver cleanses out our body. Okay. And if we don't get enough hours of sleep and if we don't get enough early nights often enough, then our body is not able to remove the toxins. They start building up. And then again, it crosses a certain level. And voila, we can experience those symptoms again. The third one is stress that Andrew mentioned. And the physiological reason for this is when we're stressed. So our brain has a direct connection to our gut through the vagus nerve, right? And so what can happen in this situation is when we're stressed, our body doesn't digest our food properly. Now, what that can mean is that our food starts to rot and putrefy in our bowel. This releases toxins, and over time it can build up. Voila. All right. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Can you see that?
Yeah, because every time I went into a healing crisis, I would notice that my flatulence was started to smell, and I'm like, oh God, here it
Yeah,
comes, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And then it took some time to then eventually, yeah,
Yep.
start.
So the
Yeah,
still, yeah, the toxins are building up.
yeah, that's a first sign that something's not going well when your flatulence starts to stink. That's
Hmm.
yeah.
So that's, and then, for other people,
But
they
then
may have
also,
different experiences as well. But, you know,
yeah, that's
it's really important. And thank you for being so open and honest, because it's very easy to kind of be like, oh, I've been perfect all these 4 years and nothing's happened
yeah.
to me. I didn't make any mistakes. And, but we're
Oh
human.
no,
And this is the main thing about this podcast. I want to share with you guys different stories, different journeys, how people cope. And also, lots of people ask us for follow-up. So here's one of our clients who was kind enough to come and share his journey. He's doing amazingly well, even though he's had a couple of setbacks. He's just at 40 playing professional sport, winning most valuable player, that kind of thing. So
yeah,
and the second thing I wanted to talk to you about was a couple of tips for people who are more athletic. They want to pursue a career in sports, or they want to, just even if just it's a hobby for them. What are some of your main tips that really helped you perform athletically from a
yeah.
diet or lifestyle perspective?
Yeah, I would say like if I would say eat lots of fruit and vegetables. That's number one. Number two is you have to exercise. Like you have to be active. Like even if you're not like running or just go for a walk with your dogs or whatever. Like anything active is good. So that's important. I mean you do have to train your muscles though. So even if you don't want to do weights, maybe do some body weights. Like you gotta and yeah, and it's good to like shock the heart once in a while. Like, yeah, do something strenuous, like, yeah, like sprints or bike sprints or anything like that gives you that, that breathing there. So yeah, that's important. Yeah. But you want to be active and yeah, that's my advice. Yeah. Just eat healthy and train.
Simple,
That's
isn't it?
about
Like, yeah, and it's just
simple.
how do you find, like, getting results is it takes time, right? You have to show a lot of commitment, discipline. Like, do you see
Yeah.
any parallels with your healing journey to how
Yeah.
what the discipline it takes to be really good at what you do from a career perspective
I,
as well?
I would say like, yeah, consistency is the I forgot to say that, but consistency is the most important. Like you have to do it day in and day out. I mean, if you maybe don't do it for a week and then do it and then you do a little bit of that or like it doesn't work like that. Like you have to be consistent. You have to just like the diet, you can't like you can't cut corners, you got to kind of stay focused. It's okay if you make mistakes, but the next day get back on track. Like you want to be consistent, and it's like that with training. If you want to prolong your career, if you want to be an athlete, you got to be consistent. You got to have a routine, and yeah, it goes with eating, same thing, back and forth. Yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
that's important. Yeah, yeah,
Amazing,
that's
man.
what's helped me. That's what helped me. So I
Yeah,
don't know. I can't speak
consistency.
for all athletes,
I
but
mean, I tell people all this time, there's such a parallel between uh healing goals and fitness goals. You know, like if I want to run a marathon tomorrow, I can't do that. I haven't trained consistently enough to do that. I mean,
yeah,
I
exactly.
could, right? It would take me a long time, right? If I couldn't do it at a reasonable level. Um,
Yeah.
but and it's the same thing for healing. Like, if you want to win them, like if you want to win, like if you want to be really good at what you do, like you are, you can't just be like, oh, I'll do it today. Oh, today I don't feel like getting out of bed this morning to train or whatever it is, right? You can't be like that. You have to get up and get it done. And some days, you probably found it. Some days you don't want to get out of bed, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh man,
yeah, smooth sailing. Yeah, 100%. And like it sets you up for the end goal, right? Like all that work you put in, that consistent work, like when it's time to perform, then it's gonna matter. Like it's gonna have an impact. So yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, hey man, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
coming back. Yeah. And
thank you.
yeah, coming and sharing. I know you got a busy schedule, so really appreciate you taking the time to share with everyone and you know, take inspiration from this guy, man. This guy has, had colitis for 14 years. He came off biologics just
Yeah.
before a season of ice hockey and yeah, I mean, honestly, you inspire me. You just yeah, I love following what you're doing and yeah,
You guys inspired me. Pretty nice. Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you, Shakur, and the best.
So if you're watching this on YouTube, please share it. If you're listening to this on the podcast, please share it with everyone. It's not just for everyday people. It's and if you're a professional athlete, you can heal yourself. You can perform at a very high level. You can win trophies. Eating this way, it's definitely a diet for everybody. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please click on that red subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon so that you get a reminder of all our recent uploads and more amazing stories of people healing and staying healed, just like Andrew has. And if you have any questions about Andrew's journey, please ask down below, and we'll be happy to answer them to the best of our ability. Apart from that, Andrew, thank you very much, mate, and keep enjoying your life after colitis.
Thank you very much, and we'll be in touch.
No
Ciao,
worries,
bye.
mate. And for everyone watching and listening, make sure you eat plants and lots of them. Take care.